perhaps more importantly, you can give yourself the permission to be enough. Say, I matter. My life matters. Not because of what I did or what I do, but because of who I am. We are valuable simply because we exist. Each of us brings something irreplaceable to the world, a story, a love, a light, and that's something that no one can take away. Have you ever wondered what gives us worth? Is it what we accomplish, what we own, what others say about us? Or is there something deeper, something within us all that can't be seen but only felt? In the world we live in, we are often taught to measure ourselves by what we can do, our jobs, our grades, the boxes we check off. We push ourselves to achieve more, to do more. It feels like that's the only way to prove that what we matter. But is that where our value comes from? From what we can accomplish? Or is there more to it than our productivity? Think about those days when you're racing against deadlines or struggling with tasks, feeling the pressure to be perfect. And yet no matter how much you achieve, the goalpost keeps moving. Success can feel like an endless chase as they're always one step away from being enough. But what if our value isn't in the chase? What if it is something we have had all along? Our true worth is not in our accomplishments. It's in something far deeper, something quieter. Let's go to the beginning, the ideal place where our value is revealed. As a father cradling his newborn son in his arms, the baby's tiny fingers wrapped around the father's holding on so tight without knowing why. Just instinct, just trust. The father looks down at him, this small life so fragile, so new, and in the moment something stirs deep within him. He feels it is a love so powerful it takes away his breath completely. And in that love, he knows his role has changed forever. This baby boy doesn't understand words or the world around him, but he already knows the sound of his father's voice, the comfort of his touch. Every night as the father rocks him to sleep, softly humming, the baby feels safe, loved. And though the baby can't express it, those moments shape him in a way that lasts a lifetime. Because in those quiet, tender moments, the father isn't just caring for his son. He is showing him that he matters. For that baby boy, the father is the first example of love, strength, and gentleness. He's the first voice of reassurance, the first person who says you are safe, you are loved. And the boy won't remember these early years, but that feeling will stay with him. Buried deep in his heart, giving him confidence to grow, to explore, to believe in the world, and to know his own worth. This may not be your story, but remember, it's never too late to receive what's true, a sense of worth deep inside you. You matter. Your life matters, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. The boy, only a few years old, his world full of questions, wonder, and excitement. He doesn't yet know about expectations or pressures that life will put on him one day. But he does know one thing. His father is his hero. His father watches his son, seeing the curiosity in his eyes as the boy fumbles with a small toy. He notices how hard his son is trying, his frustration becoming when he tries to put that piece together the way he expects, and father could easily step in, fix the toy for him, show him how it's done. But he doesn't. Instead, He kneels down, looks at his son in his eyes, and says something that will stay with that boy for the rest of his life. It's okay, he says. You don't have to get it right the first time. You're learning, and what matters is whether you finish the toy or not. You're doing great. The boy looks up surprised. His father isn't disappointed. He isn't impatient. He's proud. Not because the boy succeeded, but because he tried. And in that moment, the father is teaching his son something deeper than how to build a toy. He's showing him that his value doesn't come from getting things right, from being perfect. It comes from the willingness to keep going, from the curiosity, from the effort. This may not be your story, but remember, it's never too late to receive what's true, a sense of your worth deep inside you. You matter, your life matters, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. As the boy grows, something shifts. He's no longer a baby in his father's arms, nor a small child who runs to him, scraping his knee or bedtime stories. He's become a young man, stepping into the uncertain world of early adolescence. It's an age where everything feels like it's changing. His body, his mind, and his sense of self. And in the middle of all this searching for one thing more than anything else is his value. At this age, the father's role has evolved, but the heart of it remains the same. Now it's not about rocking him to sleep or holding his hand at the playground. Now it's about guiding him through the storm, growing up, showing him that even in the confusion, often overwhelming times, he is still seen, still loved, still important. The boy might not say it, but he craves his father's reassurance more than ever. He wants to know that he's enough, that he's capable, that he's worth something, even when he's unsure of himself. And the father, if he's paying attention, sees this. He knows that in those moments of tantrums, of silence, the slammed doors, or awkward questions are not just signs of rebellion, but a boy figuring out who he is. How does a father show his son his value during these times? He listens. He listens when the boy comes home from school frustrated, when he complains about friends or struggles with self-doubt. The father doesn't dismiss his feelings or try to fix everything for him. Instead, he lets him speak, lets him feel. He shows his son that his thoughts matter, that his experience is valid, that he doesn't need to have everything figured out yet, and that it's okay to be uncertain. But more than listening, the father gives him something even more powerful: his time. In a world that's constantly pulling him in different directions, where there's screens and schedules competing for his attention, the father carves out moments just for them. Whether it's tossing a ball in the backyard, working a project together, or simply sitting in the car after a long day. Those moments, seemingly small, are where the boy learns he's worth his father's time. He learns that his presence matters, that he is seen. In those quiet moments, the father is teaching him something profound. He is showing him that his value doesn't come from perfection, from never making mistakes. It comes from trying, from being present, from learning. When the boy fails at something, a test, a sport, a friendship, the father doesn't judge. Instead, he encourages. He reminds his son that mistakes are part of the growth, that failure isn't a reflection of his worth. And as the boy begins to stretch his boundaries and seek independence, the father steps back, but not too far. He lets his son explore and make his own choices, even when he knows they won't always be the right ones. This is how the father shows his faith in him. He's saying, I trust you. I trust your ability to learn, to figure things out, to become your own person. And in that trust, the son finds his value. He learns that his father believes in him, that he is capable of standing on his own 2 feet. The father also knows when to step in. He knows when his son needs a reminder that strength isn't just about independence, that it's about knowing when to ask for help. He is showing his son that vulnerability isn't a weakness, that it's okay to learn on others, to admit when you don't know everything, to seek guidance when you're lost. The father leads by example, showing that the real strength lies in the balance of standing tall on your own and knowing when to reach out. As the boy enters his teenage years and a new kind of bond forms between them, it's no longer just a father teaching his son, but 2 people learning from each other. The father learns to go a little to watch his son take steps into the world on his own. And through all his changes, he comes to realize that no matter what, his father is there. Not dictating his path, but to support him along the way. In a delicate dance of adolescence, the father teaches his son that value isn't earned or the approval of others. It's inherent. Just as when he was a baby, the father shows him through patience, presence, and unconditional love that he is worthy of time, worthy of trust, worthy of love, simply because he exists. And as the boy stands on the brink of becoming a young man, he carries with him the knowledge that he is worthy. His father has shown him that in every stage of life, from childhood to adolescence, his value remains constant. It's a gift that will guide him long into adulthood, long after these teenage years have passed. This may not be your story, but remember, it's never too late to receive what's true, a sense of your worth deep inside of you. You matter. Your life matters. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Look at a moment of kindness in your life. A friend offering support when you're at your lowest, a stranger lending a hand when you least expect it, a simple act of care. Something small, but it matters. More than we often realize, that's where we find our value, not in what we do, but in how we connect, in how we show up for each other, in the love we give. It's easy to forget this. It's easy to think that we're not enough, that we're too flawed, too ordinary, too broken to matter. But here's the truth. You are enough, just as you are. You don't have to be perfect to be valuable. You don't have to be extraordinary to matter. Your worth isn't defined by perfection. It's found in your imperfection, in your unique story, in the love you give, in the way you make others feel. That's where your value lies. If that's not your story, it will take time to believe that you have value. You have maybe spent many years convincing yourself that your worth had to be earned, that you had to prove it. But slowly you begin to see the truth, that value isn't something that someone else gives you or takes away. It's already there inside of you, waiting to be recognized. But where is the hope? If you didn't have an ideal father, how is it that you find that value now? Is it by helping a stranger, being there for a friend, working hard, not for the recognition, but because it felt right? You can learn that you have value and resilience in the ability to keep moving forward, even when life didn't go the way that you had planned. And perhaps more importantly, you can give yourself the permission to be enough. Say, I matter. my life matters. Not because of what I did or what I do, but because of who I am. In the end, we are valuable simply because we exist. Each of us brings something irreplaceable to the world, a story, a love, a light, and that's something that no one can take away. No achievement, no failure, no circumstance can change your worth. Come with me as we discover our value. In this great adventure, you can go on bringing those around you. In the end, you will learn that not having a father doesn't mean you are incomplete. It doesn't mean that you are less valuable. It is something intrinsic. It's something that's been with you all along. And once you find it, it becomes your foundation, strong, unshakable. It's your story, it's your own, and it's enough. Think of the lives you've touched, the people that you have helped. Even if you didn't realize it, your presence in their world ripples outwards, creating connection, shaping their lives. We are all connected in this way, through the quiet moments, through the small kindness, through the shared struggles, and the joys. And it's through those connections that we discover our true value. One of the best ways we can find our value is with others, in community, working quietly to bring light into the world. This may not be your story, but it could be. In the end, we are valuable simply because we exist. Each of us brings something irreplaceable to the world. A story, a love, a light. And that's something that no one can take away from you. No achievement, no failure, no circumstance can change your worth. This may not be your story, but it could be.